The spookiest urban legends are those containing a hint of reality. This is the aspect of the Black Volga story that makes it such a terrifying urban legend. While there is much mystery surrounding the phantom luxury car, the reality may have been more simple but equally horrific. Could this urban legend have sprouted from the actions of a high-ranking Soviet official's real actions? There's plenty of evidence to suggest that Lavrenti Beria's sexual deviance and murderous ways are the progenitor of the Black Volga legend. This is the story of the Black Volga legend and the potential real crimes that created this disturbing urban legend. The Volga was a particularly popular vehicle driven by affluent people in Eastern Europe after the Second World War, and it was almost exclusively painted black. The average factory worker was not rolling around in a Volga. Like the high-end luxury cars today, only the elite class are driving or being driven in these cars. The legend states that the infamous Black Volga was being piloted by either Satan and/or his demons, vampires, or even KGB agents that had the goal of harvesting organs and tissues from the unsuspecting citizenry as part of a black market organ trade. Since there were many shady things that the upper echelon of the USSR would engage in, the leap from political kidnappings to an organ harvesting trade is not a big one. This is even a common conspiracy trope today, with people talking about elites kidnapping children to drink their blood for the adrenochrome contained within. The main theme is government paranoia. Often, this paranoia is well-founded. Some of the stories claim that the bodies of kidnapped people would later be found with obvious signs of surgery and mutilation, complete with missing body parts. This is what led to the legends of the USSR elites harvesting peasant organs. Sadly, this isn't something outside of the realm of possibility. The stories of people being just left on the streets of missing organs eventually turned into people being found drained of blood. Because of this, and the expansion of the USSR influence into Moldova and Romania, the operators of the Black Volgas became vampires. The Black Volgas were only seen at night, people disappeared in the night, and how victims were found led further credence to the Black Volgas being an operation carried out by vampires. This is also my favorite interpretation of the legend. Since some of the victims of the secret police were never seen again, the Black Volga story would eventually transform into Satan being the driver, taking the unfortunate souls straight to hell. Granted, demons were the ones driving the car in reality. They were just human and not supernatural. The simplest explanation is often the correct one, and in this instance, communist officials that were prone to kidnapping people and excessively interrogating them for views that the Communist Party would see as a threat often picked people up in Black Volgas. In the USSR, no thought crime goes unpunished. The Soviet secret police, known as the NKVD, were probably the ones kidnapping people in Black Volgas. However, the most horrific and most likely aspect to this legend came from the Soviet premier, Lavrenti Beria. Baria was known for his desire to abduct women he deemed attractive, rape them, and send them off with flowers to imply that the women had consented to the act. If the women denied the flowers, or if Baria thought they would expose him, he usually killed the women. When Stalin learned his daughter was alone with Baria, he called her and told her to leave at once. Another Soviet higher-up heard Baria compliment his daughter and immediately instructed her to never trust or accept a ride from Baria. In the 1990s, work on the grounds of Beria's old estate turned up female remains. Forensic analysis determined that these women were strangled and then buried. A quote from a BBC documentary provides good insight that Baria was the source of the Black Volga legends, stating that, quote, Baria spent his nights having teenagers abducted from the streets and brought here for him to rape. Those who resisted were strangled and buried in his wife's rose garden. So a demon was behind the Black Volga abductions, and his name was Lavrenti Beria. Thank you all very much for listening. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button as it really does help me out, and subscribe if you want to hear more stories like this. Again, thank you for listening.